Justin Trudeau is a narcissistic liar. He's a compulsive liar as well. He does everything in his power to blame others and pass the buck. There is zero accountability that Justin Trudeau has ever or will ever take. Everything wrong that happens around him is always other people's fault except for him. Trudeau views himself as a perfect human being. And we're going to take a look at this interview of where Trudeau you can just see it bleed out of his pores. He's having like an inner meltdown where he just wants to blame Pierre Poilievre and blame everyone but himself for the crisis here in Canada that is housing. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage you to give a like, subscribe, follow, share this video if you haven't yet. This is going to be a really good one. I promise that. Now, it's a bit of an older one. As you can see, Trudeau does have the welt in his face from when Sophie allegedly threw a wine bottle at him. That is the rumor that I heard down the grapevine. Is it true? I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. Let's take a look at Trudeau just have his little inner crisis over like, it's Poilievre's fault. It's all Poilievre's fault.
Here in Hamilton, we've got tent encampments with 165 people or more living in these encampments. The city's trying to be compassionate. They don't know what to, they haven't decided at this point how to handle it. And winter's coming up in several months before long-term projects like this can kick in. Any advice for Hamilton, what it should do here?
Well, actually, a number of these units I've heard will start to be available as of this fall. So that's going to take off some of the pressure as well. Since 2015, we've invested about $365 million in housing in Hamilton that has resulted in creation of and refurbishment of a lot of units, but there's more to do. In terms of homelessness specifically, through Reaching Home, partnering with the City of Hamilton, we're talking about directly $60 million over the past years that we've put forward to help people in Hamilton. But this continues to be a challenge that we are very much seized with, that we're looking to different solutions. Many of the investments we're announcing today, the $45 million, will be available to the most vulnerable people, including people who are currently in encampments. But you're absolutely right. We have to keep working. We have to keep working together. And that's where the collaboration with the City of Hamilton, the compassionate leadership that Andrea has been showing, the presence to be funding partners that the federal government is doing, is part of that solution. Now, when Conservatives look at tent encampments, simply throw up their hands and say, it's broken, we should cut funding because it doesn't work, that's exactly the wrong path. We need to be investing more to support people right now, even as we build greater economic opportunities into the future. And that compassionate, grounded in reason and science approach is what we're always going to work on together with a great partner like the Mayor of Hamilton.
He's so overly animated. It's so creepy. I've never seen anyone just talk with such exaggeration. Like, he probably, a welt on his face is probably from him practicing his speeches in the mirror, to be honest. And he just shoved his thumb in there or something. I don't know. But it's just, it's so bizarre. And also this weird, like, we know it's a fake smirk. We know you don't want to be there. We know that you're having like a meltdown inside. We know that the polls are dropping. This face should be on every punching bag. And is it called the speed bag in the boxing gym with the, one of those things across the country or something, because it's just such a, he's got that face. He's got the look, at least for one thing, and it's not politics. He's got a face for radio, if you know what I'm saying. All right, let's continue.
Hi, my name is Aura. I'm with CBC Hamilton. So Mayor Andrea Horwath asked you for $9 million to address the refugee and asylum seekers ending up in the shelter system or living on the streets. Do you plan on giving the city that money?
We actually had a brief chat about that earlier. Our governments are engaged, looking together for how we can work together to solve this. As I said, it's unacceptable that vulnerable refugees and asylum seekers be sleeping in the streets, and we need to work together, and we will be there to partner and make sure that we can solve that. Would you like to say a couple words on that?
Sure.
Thanks, Prime Minister. I appreciate the question, and the Prime Minister is accurate. I did receive a letter from the new minister. We identified where some of the challenges lie, and we've made a commitment to work together to try to resolve the challenges that exist, because people should not be in the situation that they are coming to our country, whether they're asylum seekers or refugees, and living on our streets. I don't think anybody can accept that, and I think we just need to.
Let me stop you right there, madam. You don't have a name because you're not important. Never mind, people that are coming to this country shouldn't be in the position that are in. People living, born and raised, or who have already immigrated here legally in this country should not be living in the conditions or the way that they are. Focus on the people that are already within the borders, that can legally vote here in Canada, that are registered, that are Canadian citizens. Just stop focusing on immigration just for like a minute, just 6 months. Just stop for 6 months and focus on Canadians. Stop worrying about Ukraine. Just close your eyes. Pretend it's not even there. Just pretend Ukraine isn't even there. Pretend that everything around the world isn't happening, and just focus on Canada and see where that gets us. I bet you that'll solve a whole lot of fucking problems here in our borders. But no. We got to give, billions of dollars away to other countries. You got to focus on not immigrants that are coming to Canada, future-proofing ourselves for immigration. That's Canada's concern, is future-proofing. We're not concerned about the people that are already here. We're concerned and spending money on, people that will eventually come here. What? Just focus on the people born and raised here. You don't have to be born and raised here to be considered Canadian. You'd have legally immigrated here. Sure, that's fine. Whatever. But focus on us. We're struggling, man. We're struggling. You got so many Canadians living on the streets and homelessness and drug addiction, and government's funding it. And no, that's not happening. Ukraine, though, that's important. That's a very important thing.
Recall as well, or identify as well, that we have a lot of pressure in our shelter system right now. We have lots of folks who are unhoused, and this announcement today tries to address some of those issues as well. The root cause of homelessness or houselessness is one of the facts that we don't have enough affordable housing. And so I think we need to kind of contextualize everything in the commitment that we're all making to ensure that affordable housing is available, and for people who need supports to be able to be successfully housed. We are working on that as well as a city. And another issue was raised around evictions. We're working on that as well as a city. There are many solutions, and both the federal government and the city of Hamilton are working very, very hard to bring as many of those solutions to fruition as we possibly can, and as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Oh, it's so weird, the priorities of this government. It's just so bizarre, man. I'll never understand it.
Kevin Winter, Hamilton Spectator. The provincial government has blamed the federal government's Carmen plan as the main cause of inflation. Higher grocery prices, higher everything, actually, and it's on your shoulders.
The federal price on pollution not only is a way to fight climate change,
Here he goes.
It's a way to put money back in people's pockets.
You can't write or make up this level of stupid. You can't. A tax is a way to fight climate change. If somebody in the comments, I'll pin it. Just explain to me how my taxes, how our taxes are going to fight climate change. I'll give you $1 million. I'll go to the bank. I'll take out a loan. I'll sell my kidney. I'll give you $1 million. And now, is that really going to buy you much? Nah, because the carbon tax is going to take pretty much half of that. But it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense how our taxes are going to fight climate change. And when they say that, I question my own sanity, man. I'm like, hold on a second. Is it? No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And then I feel crazy. And then I talk about it with friends and family. And I feel like I'm going insane sometimes, because it's like I'm defying the government, man. I just feel like I'm in my basement defying what the government's saying, man. The government is lying to us. It's just how I feel.
8 out of 10
but it's all true. And that's the craziest part. It's all true. That's the craziest part, that they actually are lying. That's what's true, is that they are lying.
Canadians in jurisdictions where the federal price on pollution applies get more money back from that price on pollution every year than it costs them. We are seeing the impact of increased extreme weather events right across the country, and we're seeing the cost of those impacts, not just fiscally on provinces and municipalities struggling, but also in lives, in homes lost, in anxiety about the future. We need to continue to step up in meaningful ways, not just to fight climate change, but to incentivize businesses and our economy to create those solutions and implement those solutions that are going to slow down the pace of climate change. Canada can and will continue to lead on this. Companies like Volkswagen, like ArcelorMittal, Dofasco, making decisions to invest in Canada, in Ontario, is linked to the fact that they know we are taking seriously both the opportunities and the challenges. Unfortunately, Conservative politicians continue to attack our plan to fight climate change.
He can't help himself.
Put more money back in people's pockets without proposing any concrete plan to either support Canadians through these challenging times or fight climate change for future generations. We're going to continue to demonstrate what Canadians know. You cannot have a plan for the future of the economy if you don't have a plan to fight climate change. That's what we'll continue to do.
Last question.
No, you can give people a choice and you can slow roll programs, but Trudeau doesn't want to do that. He wants to force people's hands, and that's what the majority of people have an issue with. That's what the majority of the world has an issue with, is the forceful, mandated approach that the government has. Just, it seems like it's more frequent now, this mandated approach. Like, we're not banning things, we're just making these policies that you can't use those things. You know, regular cars, gas, diesel, propane, now WD-40, like the list goes on. Nail polish remover, we're not banning them. You just can't use them as is. They have to change. That's also a word for banning, I believe.
Next question.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. Laura Stone, Globe and Mail. You've spoken a lot during this press conference about Pierre Poilievre, and you've used multiple answers to kind of go after him and his policies. He's been going after you for a long time on this issue of inflation, affordability, and of course, housing. You just shuffled your cabinet. You elevated Sean Fraser to housing. Is there a recognition, perhaps, or a sensitivity on your part that he has tapped into something that people are very concerned about? And do you feel threatened now by his leadership?
No, what is of concern to us is the fact that there
That's a lie.
so many people having trouble making ends meet. And that's why we moved forward over the past year with significant investments to help Canadians. Investments like ensuring that kids under 12 have access to dental care. And let's pause on that for a second, because that's something that is making a huge and real difference. We're talking hundreds of thousands of families who sent their kids to the dentist for the first time over the past year. Pierre Poilievre, to bring him up again, as you brought him up, voted against dental care. He said providing dental care to low-income Canadians would just feed inflation. Well, there's two things wrong with that. First of all, we have seen inflation come down now to the lowest levels of most of our partners, back into the Bank of Canada range, which is a very good thing, which shows that our targeted investments have actually been able to bring down inflation.
All right. Huge shout out to anybody in the comments right now. If you can honestly say, like, from the deep depth, most truthful part of your heart, that you're paying less for groceries than you ever have, and that the cost of living is more affordable than you've ever seen it. Because that's what they're claiming inflation is at. They're claiming inflation is at like 2.8 or 2.2% or something ridiculously low, which, like, that number, it would be a good number for inflation. That's a pretty decently low number. Obviously lower the better, but I'll take actual 2% or 2.8% over what's going on right now. So anyone in the comments who's, you know, really really has noticed that, hey, yeah, life is really affordable right now, more than it was 5 years ago. Props to you. Props to you. Scan the comments, comment down below right now. You know, get involved with the community if you haven't ever. It's a very positive community down in the comments, and see what people are saying, because I just don't believe it. I don't believe it at all.
Even while we're supporting Canadians. And the second piece of it is that so he was wrong about its impact on inflation. And he chose to vote against and to stand against and try to block in the House delivering of dental care for vulnerable Canadians. Why would you do that? Why would you say that dental care is fine for MPs and their families, and it's not inflationary for people to send their kids to the dentist if you have money to do it, but to let low-income people and people who are otherwise struggling have kids with a brighter smile, and vote against that in the name of protecting from higher inflation when inflation has steadily been going down? That's him making baseless arguments, completely disconnected from fact, but playing on the very real fear, anxiety, and frustration that people are out there. That yes, there are challenges around the cost of living. But you don't solve problems by scaring people, by stirring up anger. He's hoping that he's going to be able to get votes out of it, but that's not how you build a stronger economy. Confident communities, confident countries invest in themselves. His solution on anything is cut housing supports, cut dental supports, bring forward a two-tier healthcare. You haven't heard him talk about the investments we're making in healthcare because he doesn't want to have anything to say about that. Because these are real measures that are going to be helping Canadians. His answer to everything is cuts and be angry. That's not Canada. That's not how we build a stronger future. That's not how we've gotten through the challenging times we've had in the past. Canadians roll up their sleeves and get to work and build and invest in themselves and their communities. That's what we do. We partner with people. We don't pick fights with mayors. That's where the anger that he is drumming up is dangerous for Canadians who would much rather work hard and build a strong future than throw up their hands and say, oh, it's all terrible, it's all broken, let's all stay home. No, that's not who Canadians are. So I won't be stirring up anger. I will be pointing out where his proposals are irresponsible and unserious, but I will stay focused on solving the challenges Canadians are facing rather than exploiting them for political gain, like Pierre Poilievre does.
Wow. There's that little smug look. I love this. This is just so much proof now that Pierre is living in Trudeau's head rent-free. That was the longest monologue he gave out of all of the questions he was asked. And because it was specifically around Pierre Poilievre, he just went as long as he could to really make his point. And I don't think it worked. I think a lot of this has backfired. I think a lot of people are seeing through the charade right now that, look, man, you don't know what the hell you're doing. This is going to sound crazy, and it's going to be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but what Trudeau said about Canadian, or like how an economy grows is Canadians investing, or a government investing into the economy. That makes sense. And I think almost everybody could actually agree with that point. That's not the unpopular opinion. The unpopular opinion is that the child care reimbursement, or the child care plan of $10 a day, that makes sense, just not right now. Not right now. The priority sequence is making sure that cost of living for everybody is as affordable as we can get it. Housing for everybody is as affordable as we can possibly get it. Because what's the point of, you're not going to incentivize people to have kids and grow a family, right? And start pumping out, dozens of kids or half a dozen kids or whatever it is per household, which is what economies eventually want, right? Like, that's great for a country. Is the more kids people can have, the better. And then you can scale and scale and scale, and you can have more workers and more people that are loyal to Canada. Like, that's incredible. Right now, we don't exactly have the infrastructure to do that. that, but it's the affordability issue. When you go around and you ask people, younger people, right, that can have kids or that are about to have kids, have you thought about kids? What's the number one barrier for having children? Everybody, 99% will say pricing, finances. We don't know if we can afford a kid. Oh my God, it's going to cost so much money. So the kid isn't what costs a lot of money. It's housing. Everyone who's pretty much at an age to have children, over 50% can't afford a house. Over 50% can't afford a house. So you make housing affordable, you make life affordable for all Canadians, and then you incentivize to grow the economy by affordable childcare. That makes sense, but there's a sequence of priorities in my own personal opinion. Now, I might have a bit of a bias since I'm starting a family. I've got like a 10-month-old, almost 11-month. We're thinking of having another kid. I want a bunch of kids. I want like 7 to like 20 kids. I don't know, maybe not 20, but 18 is a pretty good number of amount of kids. I'd like a lot of children, and affordability is the biggest priority. And it's not how expensive a child is, because when they're younger, they're not too expensive. It's buying a house, paying off a mortgage, making sure all our bills are secured, in financial stability, and then childcare incentives. That's the priority that I think the Liberals are missing, which I would actually be interested to see the Conservatives talk about at some point or another. But I'd love to know what you guys think about this video down below. Do you think that Trudeau's meltdown is really causing him a lot of harm? Because personally, I do, and I am here to see it. I'm here to share it with you with a big fat grin on my face. Gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, follow, subscribe, share this video if you haven't yet. It really helps grow the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.